Hey everyone, Matt and V here with the Inception Agenda, and we're here to talk to you about protein. And we'll be talking mostly about supplement protein, but also working in a bit of food protein as well. So I suppose off the bat, protein from food is better than protein from a powder that you buy from a supplement shop.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, one of the first questions we get asked all the time is, how much protein do I need and where should I get my protein from? You guys are just trying to sell us protein. Do we actually need it? And we always say, no, you don't. And why?
Well, I mean, at the end of the day, you should get it from food.
Correct.
Because if you get it from food, you're getting all of the micronutrients which come with it. So if you have salmon, you're getting omega fats, which are healthy fats, along with a whole bunch of other micronutrients. If you have chicken, again, you're getting micronutrients. You get iron. If you're having red meat, you're getting iron. You're getting other micronutrients,
growth
B
factors.
vitamins, growth factors. So, but with it, you're also getting some not so healthy fats with the red meat. So, one thing that we can say definitively is that sausages, salami, and all of that highly processed meat does not count as protein.
No,
okay, we don't count that as protein in our macros. Feel free to eat it and indulge if you want, if it fits in with your goals, but don't count it as protein intake. Focus on the healthy meats, your lean cuts of meat. Yeah,
exactly. And for myself in particular, I'm not a big eater. So there's a lot of coaches and fitness enthusiasts out there which say, don't take your protein powders, get it through food. Yes, correct. But who has the time to eat 6-7 meals a day? That's for me where it comes down to. Yes, ideally I would like to eat 6 to 7 meals a day, but I can't. I don't have that much time and I've got too much work to do.
And also after training, a lot of people like to have a protein shake after training. How many people after a really hard train feel like going and cooking up some chicken?
Exactly.
It's just not practical. It's just easier to smash a shake.
Unless you're a professional athlete, who doesn't work and things like that, and you've got time to make those meals, absolutely. But for the majority of us, and you're a busy man, and you don't get in all your meals a day. You give them shakes as well.
I use shakes. I use shakes for a couple of reasons. One, I'm a big fan of collagen protein, as you know, which is really good for all of my connective tissues, my joints, and so on. And so
let's touch a bit more on that. We started using collagen protein or hydrolyzed collagen protein about, is it 2 years?
About 3 years for me.
3 years?
Yeah, about 3 years for me. So I mean, it's been nothing but beneficial. It's good for my digestion. It's good for my joints. So it's just an all-round win for me. So having that supplemented into my diet is something that I can't actually easily get from food.
Exactly.
So for me, I'm using the supplement, the protein, not just as a protein source, but also as a source of collagen protein in my diet. I suppose the one thing to sort of emphasize is that it's a bovine collagen, and it's actually got specific peptides in there as well for absorption. It's not just some crappy over-the-shelf shellfish collagen or something, which our body can't really absorb. They're often not bound to peptides and things, so, very low dosed. So, but they tend to be found more in the sort of like supermarkets or, as kind of like a beauty supplement to put in your coffee creamer or some nonsense like that.
So marketed.
This is marketing crap. So I'm talking about genuine,
proper,
like body balance collagen protein.
Exactly. So it has made a huge difference for you, hasn't it? Because I remember your joints were very loud, very achy, very rattly bones. And since you've been using it, I've definitely noticed that we don't hear that anymore.
No, it's made a huge difference in my knees and things, especially. So I do believe in using it as a supplement as well. But my primary source is food. So I probably have 4 or 5 meals a day as actual food protein, primarily chicken, sometimes fish and red meat, but my primary go-to is chicken breast. And then on top of that, I have the collagen protein and some whey protein as well. So
whey protein.
So whey, you've got your isolates, your concentrates. For me personally, I focus on isolates. And so I have a scoop of isolate with a scoop of collagen protein, and that's kind of how I take my protein. But yeah, I mean, you can probably give the listeners a little bit of a breakdown on the isolate concentrate carbohydrate type split with your whey proteins?
Yeah, exactly. So basically, it all comes from obviously dairy, your milk powder, right? And isolates is, how I'd put it, is the top of the food chain. Where you've got your different types of isolates, but basically a hydrolyzed isolate, cold filtered, you've got ultra filtrated isolates. But what it is the protein goes through the machine and everything is taken out of it but the pure protein and amino acid profiling. So it's extremely low in fat, extremely low in sugar, and extremely low in carbs. So an isolate, to be called an isolate, I believe, has to be over 88% protein. To me, it has to be over 90% protein to be called an isolate. So very, very pure, a bit more expensive, but really easy on your gut because there's no milk sugars and things added in there as well.
Which is essentially lactose.
Lactose, exactly. And then you've got your concentrates. Now, concentrates are basically a cheaper version. A lot of companies abuse it by chucking them into bags, using low-grade protein concentrate and chucking 5 types of sweetener in it and calling it protein.
But it's essentially flavored milk powder.
Essentially flavored milk powder, which is not good for your gut, not good for digestion. So when you're choosing a concentrate, now I love my concentrates because as you know, I use concentrate and and your collagen protein combined. But it has to be a nice instantized filtrated concentrate, which still has the growth factors, a really nice amount of about 80% pure protein as well, and low in fat, sugars, and carbs.
Now, one thing I suppose to also talk about is the idea of protein blends. And this is where I'm going to call a little bit of marketing BS. There are some extremely well-known brands, some of the biggest brands, or actually the biggest brands in the business, that tend to market themselves as a 100% whey isolate, and then there'll be a little asterisk, and then on the back you'll see that it's 51% isolate, 49% concentrate, all those sorts of things. They basically have to be over 50% to claim that they're an isolate, where they're in actual fact a blend, and the isolate is just a primary source. So I guess that's just a bit of a call out to listeners to look out for, is look on the back, because there will actually be more detail. Legally, it has to be disclosed there what percentages isolate and what percentages concentrate, to make sure that you're not paying an isolate price for something which is only actually 51% isolate.
Yeah, exactly. And there's a big difference in protein. It would have been isolate or concentrate. It depends where it comes from, how it's made. So not all proteins equal.
No.
We always get this, mainly from the competition and other places that, pop up, is that, this product is $20 cheaper and it does the same job. Well, it doesn't do the same job, because it all depends on the manufacturing, where it comes from, how it's made. There's certifications that are behind it. And if I'm putting something into my body, I want to know it's coming from the reputable source.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of like cars. You can say this car's a Toyota Corolla, this car's an Audi R8. They're both going to get you from destination A to destination B. Yep, that's 100%. And it's like proteins. Yes, they are both proteins, but one is going to do it faster than the other. Now, I'm not saying that one with the proteins digest faster than the other. What I'm saying is that, when you strip it back, yes, they're both proteins, but it's a little disingenuous to customers starting to say that it's exactly the same as higher price proteins, which are coming out of, say, TGA or FDA certified facilities, which are using quality whey. A lot of the more reputable manufacturers out there will actually reject products. They won't go through batch testing of the products. And so, whey can be contaminated with all sorts of things. They can use amino spiking, which increases the protein content, but not the actual digestible protein content that's inside the whey protein. So you're not getting as much as they're disclosing per sample, or per serve. So there's all sorts of marketing things that go on out there where, you do have these people who basically sell their, typically bagged proteins that, tend to be a lot cheaper. And they're cheaper for a reason. And they're cheaper because the input ingredients are cheaper and the quality's lower, but throw enough sweetener at it and it tastes like a really nice chocolate milkshake and people think it's healthy. And, we see it with other proteins out there. You kind of alluded to it with the isolates, how you strip it back, and you're getting something which hasn't got much carbs at all in there.
Yeah, correct.
And a lot of people buy protein powder and they're like, oh, I want this one because it's really low carb. Firstly, if it's a quality protein, you don't need to worry about the trace carbohydrates that are in there. You might have 5 grams a serve or something. Whoop-de-doo. If that makes a difference, it's not gonna. There's just nobody that's going to make a difference over that 5 grams. That's trace.
Yes.
But you can go out there and you can find typically ones that are sold in supermarkets, but I have seen them in some supplement shops where they're basically protein powders, and then you look on the back and they might have like 25 grams of sugar.
Oh,
and that will make a difference.
Yeah, check some vitamins in there, lots of flavoring, some sugar, make it taste good. So basically what we're saying is, don't go by the taste. Yes, it does have to taste good. I completely agree, because we like drinking a nice milkshake. But we need to look at the quality, how it's made, where it comes from. We're big believers in high quality protein, all different types. You get it from your food, you get it from your protein powder. I mean, you've got eggs, you've got, slow digesting proteins as well, to name a few.
Casein and all that sort of stuff.
Correct. So again, go by what you need per day and how your lifestyle is. So for me, I can eat about 3 to 4 meals. I definitely need a couple of shakes to get my protein requirements in per day. So everyone's got different. You might need 200 grams. I might need 150 grams. Someone bigger and more muscular like Jason, he might need 300 grams. So there's a lot of different variations in protein that everyone's required. But for bigger singers, we recommend a variation. So don't just get it from your food. Don't just get it from supplements. Have a variation.
Yeah. And educate yourself, keep coming back to it. Educate yourself on what's on the reverse of that label. Don't just trust that the person behind the counter who's selling you the stuff is recommending what's best or recommending what they use themselves. You've got to look at what's on the back of the label. Look at that nutritional panel. What are the actual carbohydrates in the protein? So is it loaded with sugar or not? And then look below the nutritional panel at the ingredients. What's the breakdown of the isolates, the concentrate, or the collagen? What's the type of collagen? Is it a hydrolyzed bovine peptide, or is it some crappy shellfish collagen, which is completely different from an absorption point of view? Look in there in terms of what are the types of sweetener. Does it just have one natural sweetener in it, like stevia, or does it have a collection of stuff that you basically need to be a biochemist to be able to understand? So really educate yourself on the back of that label, because once you pick a good protein, as we see with most customers, you're going to stick to using that protein for probably 2-3 years of your fitness journey. People don't tend to change their protein once they've picked one.
Correct.
So educate yourself. You've got a responsibility to do that. Don't just trust the person at the shop that they know what they're talking about. Educate yourself on the nutritional panel and the ingredients panel below, and then you'll make sure that you're getting what you pay for and getting a quality protein.
Exactly. So you got to go by what you need. You go into a lot of places and they'll sell you what they're basically their home brand or something is, right? I know the first thing in our shops that we always tell everyone is we go by what the customer needs. We've got to be very specific on their goals if they're getting it through food, male, female, even percentage of protein going in. There's a lot of questions that need to be asked before you buy that protein.
Absolutely. This was Matt and V for the Inception Agenda. Thank you very much for listening.